Emergency Services. And I'm here this morning to present some change orders and ask the commissioners to accept a grant. And we can do the grant first, I think that's the quickest. So the grant is the annual Task Force Homeland Security Grant. This is the funding stream that supplies, or that funds the entire 9-county task force. All counties sign on to this grant. Total award amount is $202,000. We just need to accept the grant.
Approve that.
Second.
Can you remind me how old this group has been applying for this grant? Several years?
Early 2000s. Yeah, Schuylkill County just came on board. It used to be 8 counties up until a few years ago.
So it's Adams, Cumberland, Dauphin, Franklin, Lancaster, Lebanon, Perry, Schuylkill, and York.
Yes.
Yep. Any questions for Director Dowd? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay. Next is a change order from L3 Harris. This is a change to the microwave configuration on our radio system. These were expected when they come out and do the surveys and actually identify the exact parts they need. There's always little changes. Total dollar amount for this change order is $49,663.20.
Motion to approve that change order.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this change order for the Public Safety Building. Any questions, comments? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay. The next is a building change order with the general contractor. This is number 10. Total dollar amount for this change order is $72,408. This is several things. I'll just run down through them real quickly. It was rentals for dehumidifiers for humidity control over the summer. Some additional work that needed to happen for the tower foundation when that went in. And additional flashing and trim work that needed to get done on the outside of the building when they put the windows in.
I'll make a motion to approve the $72,408 change order required or requested for our DS center.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay, and then the final change order is general contractor change order number 11. Total dollar amount for this is $35,458. All of the items on this were a result of the final paving. There were some changes made to better accommodate snow removal and eliminate future maintenance costs. And then there's an asphalt index increase that was part of this. When you pave, they always charge you whatever the current index is. It's just how business is done. Nothing out of the ordinary here.
Motion.
Motion to approve that change order.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this change order. Any questions or comments? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved. Just 2 questions, if I may. Where are we in the change order set aside?
Total contingency that we had built into this project was $1.7 million. So with these 2 change orders brings us to $806,000 spent. So we're still not even quite halfway. I do expect there to be a couple $100,000 more as we wrap this up, but it's still not, from a building construction standpoint, we're in very good shape.
Okay,
not over budget.
Okay. So you see us being able to live within that set aside?
Yes.
Okay. The other is, do you want to give us an update on the switchgear?
Certainly. It's closer
Okay,
than what it
you.
was. Some of our equipment has started to arrive, and when I say some, the pieces that actually think of them as big breakers that sit at the edge of our electrical connection into the building have arrived, which allows us to go through the process of wiring them in and getting commercial power connected to the building. What's still missing is the brains. That's the most important piece, the monitoring control section of that switchgear, which means none of our redundancies will work. We can't automatically switch over to the generator or do any of those things until the rest of that arrives. But the silver lining, if there is one, is that the stuff that has arrived allows us to start the process of turning on the building systems like the air conditioning and water and all these systems that need to go through a two-month calibration period. So we can get that clock rolling. We're still waiting on a lot of secondary switchgear equipment though for battery backups, and for the secondary building we still don't have any switchgear for that. So it's progress. Don't have an ETA on the rest of the equipment yet, but at least it allows us to start doing some parallel work.
Is the contractor on site, or do we have to get rescheduled?
Oh no, they're there.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Two things. One is a question on the first change order. The dehumidifiers, I know that it says summer humidity. It was also to control that. It was also to draw the moisture out of the construction and so on during that time. So are we done with humidifiers, or was this a up-to-date rental and they're still there and they're gonna have more? We're gonna have heaters.
There's heaters that will come shortly. I believe there will be another, this was the majority of the summer. I believe there's going to be another month on top of that
Yeah.
for the dehumidifiers.
Okay.
They're picked up and gone at this point.
Okay.
But the final bill hasn't come through.
Humidity's down in the winter anyway. I should have answered my own question, but,
The primary goal was preventing any sort of mold or any
Yeah.
mildew growth.
yeah, and when there's spackling and so on, there's still moisture in there.
Yeah.
The second is, would you just give a quick update on the zoning hearing at Heidelberg Township? We have a sales agreement on a piece of property in Heidelberg for a tower. It was contingent upon zoning approval for a variance.
Yeah, zoning hearing went very well. We did have the neighbor show up, and the neighbor was supportive of the concept, which is a great thing. Now we're waiting on Stackback Engineering to make sure that we can get a highway occupancy permit. And as long as that happens, we will come to the board for next steps on that property.
Yeah, we're not quite ready to act on the sales agreement and purchase it until the HOP can be had, hopefully. And that was part of the reason the neighbor was supportive, is that the access to this property, line of sight is pretty bad. We would only be going in once a month for maintenance and so on, so not high use, and hopefully they'll approve that. But the neighbor was concerned that it might be sold and developed for residential, and it's a treacherous
It's
in
a
and out.
really bad corner.
And so they would much rather see it county-owned for minimal use and just be a safety issue more than anything.
Yeah, it's a really good use for this property, and that was a big step.
Yeah.
We'll need variances on several of our other locations that we're working on building as well. And this one, I think, was one of the bigger concerns. I don't know where
Yeah.
there's any real problems.
And the board asked if we'll be putting a light on the top of the tower, and even though it's, I think, 10 feet short of requiring the light, we typically slip them on 5 feet short.
Yeah.
We typically do anyway, and since the Keller Brothers Airport's about 2 miles away, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just a good practice to light the towers. And FAA only requires it when you're above 200 feet. A lot of our towers, including this one, 195 feet for that very reason, but we still need them.
I know this is a lot of work to get these, sprinkled around the county, but long-term, it's the best way to go, to own the towers and control your costs.
Yeah, putting this capital out allows us to reduce, currently we're paying $200,000 a year in leasing for the towers we're on, so it allows us to reduce that. And it also, there's a potential for revenue stream that helps offset the cost of this entire system to the taxpayer later on, which is leasing out space on towers we own instead of being lessee, So,
And these are all tower locations that previously didn't exist?
yes and no. So some of them have previously existed nearby, but we're leasing space and we're trying to get away from that.
Right.
Some of them are new. So our current system is a 10-tower system. We're moving to a 13-tower system. So there are a few that are designed to help fix some deficits or some shortfalls in our current system.
And coverage, typically coverage required is 95%, 95% of the time,
Yeah.
which we meet, but it's always nice to enhance that if you can, and mainly building penetration is the issue.
The
I'm learning as I go.
Yeah,
so.
the system is designed, excuse me, to to achieve 95% mobile coverage countywide, which is mobile as in a vehicle. One exception to that, we basically cut off everything north of the Appalachian Trail. There's no population there, and we would need an additional 4 towers to cover that area. It's just prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, the last few
Yeah.
percent are the most
Right.
expensive, yeah.
And the solution to that is, part of this project included a new mobile command post with a small tower on it that we will drive out there, put the tower up, and if there is an incident that requires communication, we can still solve it, but it didn't make sense to build towers. So 95% of everything without that exclusion area. In-building coverage is always the difficult thing to achieve. You could build a
You need
2,000-foot
repeaters in
tower
there.
in the center of the county that could talk out, but the portable radio that's on somebody's hip inside a vehicle has a much lower transmit power and needs to be able to get to the tower nearby. So that's why we need so many towers. We're not just a broadcast, it's the talk back that's the issue.
And it's not that we're not covering the people that live up north of the Appalachian Trail.
No, it's.
Like Salem.
Yeah, we got you covered, Tim. No, and the radios work out there, it just doesn't work on our system. So we take that mobile command unit out there, mobile communications unit, and we can now patch it back into our system over satellite or any number of different ways. So the solution is there. It just didn't make financial sense to spend $500,000 per tower to cover an area where there's no calls.
So is that mobile command unit, is that a new acquisition for the county?
It's a replacement, yeah. Yeah, it's being built at 911 Rapid Response.
Is your deadline, excuse me, Bob, is your deadline still end of '24 to finish this project?
Yep.
It hasn't been pushed back?
Hasn't shifted yet.
Nothing else? Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
See- see-